Hey bookworms, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be rating every book I read in January. I don't know about you guys, but January felt like the longest month ever. It felt like it simply did not want to go away. But even though January was a drag, I am happy to say I read 7 books, which makes me feel pretty proud. Some books were pretty good. Some books left me feeling like, what the heck did I just read? But overall, I do feel like January was a really good start to the 2025 reading year. So let me go ahead and just dive into sharing the books that I read. The first book I read in January was My Darkest Prayer by S.A. Cosby. This is a mystery thriller that follows Nathan Waymaker, who is a former Marine, former sheriff's deputy, who works at his cousin's funeral home. And while he is taking care of funeral business, he is pulled into looking into the suspicious death of the local reverend. Nathan has a reputation, he has a bit of a past, and he is viewed as someone who can get some answers for you, and he's someone that you can trust. This book was amazing. There were twists and turns and connections in places that I didn't expect. This book was action-packed and it was a really awesome read. I gave it 4 stars. The main reason why I didn't give it 5 stars was because of the pacing. It wasn't a slow burn. It wasn't a slow read, but it also wasn't fast-paced. There were some moments where I just, wanted things to, pick up a little bit. But overall, it's a really good book. I love S.A. Cosby as an author. He is really amazing. He has a way of pulling you in and not letting you go. When I finished reading this book, I was satisfied with the ending, but I still wanted more. So my first rating for 2025 was 4 stars for My Darkest Prayer by S.A. Cosby. The second book I read in January was The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami. This was my first time reading one of his books. I did not know what to expect going into this read, but this book was definitely an experience. It's about a boy that gets trapped in a library and he has to plot his escape. There's a sheep man. There's a lot in this book. Let me read because I'm not going to do a good job of explaining this book. All right, The Strange Library is a 96-page illustrated short novel about a lonely boy trapped in a nightmarish library. The boy, a mysterious girl, and a sheep man plot their escape. The boy's captor, an old librarian, locks him in a cell and demands he memorize 3 obscure books about Ottoman tax collection before eating his brain. Yeah, this was a wild ride. I gave this book 3 stars. I feel like there was a message in this book, but I didn't quite get it. If you have read anything from this author, please let me know if it is worth continuing, because even though I felt like this book was strange and then that I didn't get it, I am open to trying to read another one of their books. But if you have read anything by this author, please let me know how you feel about them. Should I try again? Because this was just a wild ride, but it was a relatively short book, so I'm happy that it wasn't long and drawn out and that I had gone through this journey and ended up reading like 300 plus pages to be left feeling like I don't know what the heck I just read. But that was my second read of 2025 and I gave it 3 stars. My third read was Ring Shout by P. Djèlí Clark. And my oh my, this book was absolutely amazing. This book is a historical fiction that follows 3 female freedom fighters. They fight Ku Kluxes, and the Ku Kluxes in this book aren't regular people. They're actual monsters who feed off of hatred. And boy, oh boy, this book was absolutely amazing. This was my first 5-star read of 2025. I absolutely loved it. It's really amazing. I recommend listening to the audiobook because I bounce between reading the physical book and listening to the audiobook. I absolutely love the experience of the audiobook. So if you want to give this book a try, I definitely recommend listening to the audio version. I give this book 5 stars. It was supposed to be a TV show or a movie. It was supposed to be brought to the screen. The last time I checked, that was in talks in 2020. So I don't know if they're going to continue with that project, but boy, oh boy, this book was absolutely amazing. The pace was amazing. The depth of the characters was amazing. You felt for them. You wanted them to win. It was just a really good book, and I love the premise of the Ku Kluxes being monsters that feed off of hate. That is just absolutely brilliant. I want to read more by this author, and I definitely recommend this book if you love historical fiction and you're looking for something that is really unique. Ring Shout is definitely a book I will recommend to everyone who asks me for a suggestion. The 4th book I read was An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good by Helene Tursten. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. This book was fun. It's about a old lady who does stuff. By stuff, I mean she kills people, and she's very mischievous and calculating, and I loved her as a character. My rating for the book was about 3.75 stars. This book was translated from, I can't remember the language, but it was translated, and I feel like some things kind of got lost in translation. But it was a really good book. I actually have part 2 on my February TBR list. So even though it wasn't a 4+ star read, I definitely recommend it, and I'll probably read it again just to see how it feels again and to see if there's anything I missed. But I really enjoyed it. It's a quick read, and it's a fun time. I think it's a fun time. The 5th book I read is The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. This is a 19th century short story that follows a woman's descent into psychosis. Our main character's physician husband believes that the best course of action for her temporary nervous depression is to have her be locked away in a nursery with very little interaction with the outside world. Pretty much just has her isolated, and he thinks he knows best. She does believe otherwise, but she doesn't really say it very often. Like, she brings it up, but it's like the best course of action for her is to just fall back and allow things to unfold. This book highlights a lot of different things: women's mental health, sexism. It's a really good read, and I highly recommend it. I read it twice. The first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars. Then I read it again, and I was like, no, this is a 5-star read. And yeah, it's really powerful. It packs a punch for a 26-page book. I highly recommend it. And if you have read this book or any of the other books mentioned in this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Or are you planning on checking them out in the future? I would love to know. Book number 6 is Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. So this book follows 5 insomniacs who meet up nightly in a college town cemetery to smoke cigarettes. And while they're there doing their thing, they discover a freshly dug grave that wasn't there the day before. Some mysterious person appears, and they dump the body parts of mutated rats into the grave, and that leads some of the characters to investigate. And boy, oh boy, this was a really good book. It highlights ethics and morbid curiosity, and it was a good time. I loved it. I will say, I didn't really enjoy the ending. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I didn't enjoy the ending, but this was a really good book and I definitely recommend it. I'm not going to let the ending stop me from recommending it to other people because everybody has their own opinion. But this was a really good book. It creeped me out. It made me feel icky and weird and just ugh. I already hate rodents. So yeah, this book is pretty good and it was a really short read. I recommend it and I give it 4 stars. I know that this author wrote another book that has been well received. I think it was When We Are Villains, or I can't remember the name of it, but I will definitely check out that other book written by them and see if I enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed this one. And my final book for January, book number 7, was Steal Like an Artist by Austen Kleon. This book is a departure from the horror mystery thriller books I read throughout the rest of the month. This is a book that is perfect for creatives who feel like they suffer from imposter syndrome, don't know where to start, they don't feel good enough, they feel like they need to reinvent the wheel to be creative. It gives you inspiration and shows you that you don't need to reinvent the wheel to be a creative, to be an artist. And the reason why I read this book is because I recently started this channel. It's only been a little over a month and I wanted to read it because I needed some inspiration and to be told that I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to be absolutely perfect and that I'm allowed to grow and make mistakes and pursue creative things. And this book really gave me a boost of confidence and a heavy dose of inspiration. I highly recommend it if you're a creative, whether you're an artist, like you draw, you paint, you're a musician, whatever. If you're creative or if you want to start a YouTube channel, a Booktube channel, or whatever, I highly recommend reading this book because it really gets you out of that analysis paralysis that a lot of creatives find themselves in when they're trying something new. This was a 5-star read for me. I highly recommend it if you are a creative who feels stuck or you want to take the leap to try something new and you're scared. Definitely recommend this book. 5 stars. That is it for rating every book I read in January. If you have read any of these books, please leave a comment below letting me know how you felt about them. And if you have not read these books, let me know if you would like to give them a try, or if you have any book suggestions based on the books that I've shared with you all today. I would love to hear them because I will never turn down a book recommendation. But yeah, that's it for my January reading rating review. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends if you think they might like it as well. And Duke is snoring so loudly in the background. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to check out today's video. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an amazing February filled with good books, and I will talk to you beautiful people in my next video. Bye.